People, please be very careful who you date. This woman this man was dating in Ohio, she robbed him in the most sickest way you wouldn't believe. Let me explain. This man from Ohio was dating this woman that he met at a club. She had 2 kids. He didn't have any children. This man had a very good job and he had a very nice house. He was doing very well for himself. This man and this woman had dreams of being married one day. He took this woman very serious. Sometimes she would spend the night at his house at least 2 to 3 times a week. Sometimes this couple would go to church together also. That's one thing he liked about the woman. She was a God-fearing woman and he really trusted her. But everything would change one Wednesday night when this woman came to his house to spend the night. This will blow your mind. Anytime this woman would come to this man's house to spend the night, she would always cook. They would watch movies and they would make love. They would have a very good time. But this particular night when this woman came over, she cooked and they was watching TV and they was eating dinner and this man heard loud knocks at his door. It didn't make any sense. When he ran to the door, it was law enforcement. They told him to come outside and he talked to law enforcement by their police car. When law enforcement was talking to this man by the police car, it was even more strange. He looked at his girlfriend. She ran to the door and she was screaming and crying to law enforcement. Law enforcement told this man she called and said he was in her face. He was screaming at her and she was afraid. She thought he was going to hit her. This man told law enforcement that didn't make any sense. What is she talking about? He said he lived there alone. She came there to cook and she was going to spend the night. He said he don't yell at women. He don't hit women. He didn't yell at her. They was watching the movie, eating dinner together, having a good time. This man also told law enforcement this had to be a mistake. That don't make any sense. Can I talk to my girlfriend? They said no. So law enforcement did the unthinkable. They told this man he need to leave the house. Mind you, that was his house. He lived there by himself. But the woman told law enforcement they lived there together. So when law enforcement told this man to leave his own house, he almost got arrested because he started to scream at law enforcement. He said he's not leaving his house. He said that's his house and he lived there alone. She was just spending the night. When this man was yelling, law enforcement warned this man that he could be arrested if he don't leave. So this man left because he didn't want to be arrested. It didn't make any sense. This man came back to his house the very next day and half of his stuff was gone. This woman robbed this man. Also, this man had $50,000 in a safe. His safe was gone. All his jewelry was gone. His TVs was gone. Some of his furniture was gone that he paid a lot of money for. When this man got back home and realized his house was robbed and his door was open, he called this woman at least 30 times, but she wouldn't answer the phone. He realized his number was blocked. He couldn't get in contact with her. This man called law enforcement to file a police report to tell them someone robbed their house, and he believed it was his girlfriend. When he checked his cameras, this man had the shock of his life. You won't believe what this man seen. Now, mind you, law enforcement came to kick this man out around 9 o'clock. 2 o'clock in the morning, 3 men came to the house and they started robbing this man's house. It was a setup. These 3 men brought a U-Haul truck and they were stealing all his stuff out of his house. It was crazy. The woman that lied to law enforcement and said this man was in her face yelling and she was afraid he was going to hit her, she was helping the 3 men. This man never recovered anything that they stole out of his house. The safe was gone with $50,000 in it. Everything was gone. It took law enforcement 3 months to find this woman and have her arrested. She was a convicted felon. This woman already served time in prison for armed robbery and a lot of other crimes. She was out on parole. People, be very careful who you date and who you let in your house, because if you're not careful, that can be you, or it can even be worse.